What's going on, CrossFit Federal Way? It is Monday of week 3 of shutdown number 2. Yeah, cool. All right, let's talk about what we're getting ourselves into today. So today's workout at 3, 2, 1, go. You are going to have a total of 12 minutes for an AMRAP of 10 bent over rows. The weight on that barbell, if you're using a bar, this was written with a barbell in mind, but we'll talk about kettlebells and dumbbells and stuff like that as well. But the weight of that bent over row is going to start off with 95 pounds for guys, 65 pounds for the ladies. You then go into 10 hang snatch and then 50 double unders. And really what we're doing with this week is we're starting to shift focus on where we have normally just finished that strength cycle that we were working on before our shutdown. But being that we are basically in December, starting to focus more on the conditioning aspect, working on work capacity and trying to increase that stuff as we get closer to the open in February. So you're going to notice that some of the workouts are still going to have heavy elements, but a lot of them are going to be about overall work capacity, a lot more volume than what we've seen in the weeks leading up to this. So just a general uptick in volume and stuff like that. So be ready for that, but the intention is to be able to work on that ability to just move, transition smoothly, keep keep us like moving and working and getting reps the entire time and limiting that rest period. So we're working on not only the conditioning aspect, but the mental fortitude to be able to keep moving when it's a 20-minute AMRAP and it's in the open and you have no choice but to keep going to get a better score. So you're going to see a lot of that starting this week, and with all of us being at home, it makes it really easy to focus on that conditioning element too, since we all don't have access to as much equipment as we would on a normal class on a given day under normal circumstances. So making the most of those times when life gives you lemons. So anyway, the caveat of this workout, so 10, 10, 50 is our rep scheme. The weight on that bar is going to go up every single round. Now it's only going to increase by a little bit each time. So the progression of the weight, I'll go with the guys' weights first, and then I'll add the ladies' weights. So if we start with 95, my second round is going to be 115, third round 135, fourth round 155, and then so on and so forth. So you would continue to go up as long as you're able to continue working in that 12 minutes. So that means I'm going 65 here, 75, 95. I think that's 75? Yeah. And then 105. So we should be seeing, if I have the plates and I have the means to do so, increases in load as we're going through this, while trying to maintain that intensity. So the mental aspect of this is going to be that as that barbell gets incrementally a little bit heavier each time, trying to keep moving and keep things like 10 bent over rows and 10 hang snatch unbroken, while going straight into your double unders and keeping that heart rate up, it's going to be probably a lot more challenging than you'd expect. So big thing here, just focus on your breathing, try to stay settled, stay calm, keep moving. It's only 12 minutes. With that, let's talk a little bit about some movement standards, and we'll give you some options as far as barbell, dumbbell, kettlebell, that sort of stuff. So, starting with those bent over rows. The bent over row is going to be the same grip that I would normally grab for like a clean, so double overhand. I'm going to set myself to where my back, turn so you can actually see what's going on. Back's going to be nice and flat. I'm trying to keep that as close to parallel to the ground as possible, and my barbell's actually going to be floating off the ground. So from here, I'm just pulling up to my solar plexus, thinking about squeezing my shoulder blades together at the top. Notice what I'm not doing is creating a bunch of momentum with my bent over rows. We want to try to get that horizontal pull with the lats, be the primary focus of that. If I'm using other muscles, then chances are, well, the way I've heard it said in the past is if you're creating hypertrophy in the wrong muscle, you're going to create atrophy in the muscle you want to work. So making sure that we're actually pulling from the lats and not doing that, all that momentum stuff where you start to see people do this sort of thing with their bent over rows. Big difference between that and a strict range of motion. Try to keep that as strict as you can for as long as possible. Now the weight on the barbell is going to be going up every round along with your hang snatch, so these are going to get more difficult as well. All the more reason, fight against the urge to create all that extra momentum. So we go from the bent over row into the hang snatch. So I'm holding on here, so that's 8, 9, 10. I'm going to change my grip, come up to the hang first, establish the hang, and then a big jump and punch to get that bar up and overhead. So I've got 10 reps there, and then 50 double unders, which I left my jump rope over here. Now I won't give the same big long spiel I've given normally on double unders, but big things to think about is going to be focus on relaxing your shoulders as much as you can. Really easy, especially when you're trying to go fast, to tense up and take away that wrist rotation, which is going to make this a much more sustainable movement. As long as I can get this thing untangled. Assuming we can edit some of this out. All right, so now that my rope is untangled, we are going to, again, think about keeping those elbows tucked into the body, shoulders relaxed. Allow that rotation to happen at the wrist, not at the shoulder. When you create all that tension or you death grip your rope, we have a tendency to want to create the rotation here as opposed to at the wrist. So again, that bent elbow is going to discourage a lot of this travel. And the other thing about creating tension is arms tend to travel out. That tends to create a really nice little tripping point there on your rope when you're doing double unders. So keeping those in, shoulders relaxed, 50 dubs every round. Just working on that timing and that rhythm. If you do not have double unders, we're going to do a 1-to-1 ratio today. Normally it's 2-to-1, but because the intention here is to keep you moving, and I want you to get back to that barbell or back to your other implement, then I want to make sure that we don't keep you doing 100 single unders every single round, because that's just going to be a lot more time on the jump rope than is totally necessary. Now lastly, if I don't have a barbell, if I don't have plates, if I don't have those things, but I have a kettlebell or a dumbbell, the way we're going to do this workout, if I have a different implement, now if I've got two, I can always use two implements, but if I only have one, I'm going to base this off that. So if I've only got one implement, whether it be a dumbbell or a kettlebell, I want you to do the entire round on one side. So that 10 bent over rows, 10 hang snatch, obviously 50 double unders requires both hands. But both of those, I want those to be done, say like I start on my right side, I'm going to do 10 and 10 on my right side. The next round, I'm going to do 10 and 10 on my left side. I'm going to switch back and forth as I go through those rounds. And yeah, we may not end up with a totally balanced workout, but I want that stimulus of attacking the lat, getting into the upper back, and then having to do some snatches as well. So we're creating some fatigue and then going into a high skill movement. And isolating that to one side or the other will get us closer to the desired stimulus than breaking up right and left however you want to. So for those bent over rows, same idea. I'm going to keep my back as close to parallel to the floor, and I'm going to pull and row that dumbbell or kettlebell. So if I'm using the kettlebell, same idea, same motion. Rowing all the way up until I'm making contact with the side of my chest at the top to ensure full range of motion. And then for the hang snatch, for the dumbbell, you can do it as a hang, you can do it from the floor. You can do it as a regular dumbbell snatch. So going from the floor all the way up. I guess you could hang snatch your dumbbell as well. And that's totally okay. Same thing with the kettlebell. I would do this one from the hang like a standard kettlebell snatch. So from the hip, big jump and punch up. And just keep them with that kettlebell snatch. So that gives us some options as far as implements go. Again, if you don't have any of the implements that we talk about today, use what you got, get creative, just do something. Keep moving, that's what it's about. So, let's take a look at back of the board and we'll wrap this up. So again, today's workout, 3, 2, 1, go. You have 12 minutes to go through as many rounds and reps as possible of 10 bent over rows, 10 hang snatch, 50 double unders, and the weight ideally increases in between every single round. Again, from 95, 65. For guys, we're going 95, 115, 135, 155, so on and so forth. And for the ladies, you're jumping by 10 pounds every time. So that's what we're getting ourselves into. This is how we're starting our week off. Hopefully, it's a good start to the week. And with that, guys, let's get after it.